So while we are setting ourselves up still in this facility, we are physically moved in. We're still orientating ourselves. We came from 24,000 feet of building with a 4-acre yard. We are now in 340,000 square feet. It's a couple of football fields. We do have inside storage now for all of our raw materials, all of our processes. Everything is under one roof, both for our prefabrication, for our volumetric, for all the industrialized construction we perform, plus our mechanical, electrical, and plumbing division. So for us, we really brought in an industrial engineer and lean specialist, and we started looking at how we wanted to set up our dream factory. And we started looking at how everything would flow, so we have no crossing of materials or product. All of the framing is produced out of our Howick Frame 7600 on the far side. Everything comes this direction in your raw stud material, CFS, gets fabricated into wall panels. If it's strictly wall panels, they go out the end of the line and they get stacked, flat packed, or on A-frames to go out to projects. If they're for volumetric pods, they go all the way to the end of the line and we start assembling those fully finished volumetric pod units. The centerpiece of our facility, the Howick Frame 7600 in action. So this runs 2.5, 3 and 5/8, 4, 6, and 8. And I think we have 9 dies now, somewhere in that arena. We have crimp, punch, all of the screw holes, the dimpling. We have service holes. We have slotted track. We can do the K-bracing or the truss brace, whatever you want to call it. Yep. So we'll run all of the panels for that 3 and 5/8 segment. Say it's a second floor. We will pre-bundle those, stack all of that assembly. Then we'll produce the 6s. We'll bundle and stack those, and then we ship both over and start a fabrication and assembly.
Yeah. How long does it take for you to put the walls together for one of those pods?
If they're a prefabricated wall assembly, once they come over here, put them all together, all 5 panels, which are your 4 walls and your roof structure, takes about 45 minutes. We do throughout our facility and our entire process use an ERP system called Stratus, which allows us to take everything from a virtual design, automate the spooling process for manufacturing, which helps us cut quite a few weeks off of that time and process from a manual state. Then everything gets a QR code and it's tracked through the entire life cycle of the process of manufacturing all the way to field install. Once it arrives to the site, our field personnel can scan that QR code, look at where that assembly goes within the project, or if we have a TAC plan, it allows us to stage it in a pre-approved area so we don't handle it again on that project until it's ready for installation. Then once it comes time for installation, they can pull that up, see where it fits, use the installation instructions in the BIM model, and get everything installed appropriately and in a timely fashion.
Hello, Keely, Kent, and Jamie. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourselves, what you do here at M3 Components? Keely, let's start with you.
Yeah. My name is Keely Kalagos. I have been with Mark III for 10 years, and I am our Vice President of Growth and Strategy. So I oversee business development and marketing for M3 Components, which you guys just got to tour our factory, M3 MEP, and M3 Service.
Thank you. Kent.
I am Kent Ridgely, Vice President of Operations with Components. Been here 5 years, have done various things with the company over the last couple of decades at various times. But really just believed in the mission and the vision and wanted to be a part of it. And when the opportunity came, I took advantage of that and brought myself over here. Really focused on the engineering, the innovation, and really the entire process of bringing industrialized construction into the modern build, and looking at how we can continuously improve that function within construction, and really just leading that evolution of construction to leave the industry better than we found it and where we entered it, and leave it for the next generation to do things we didn't even imagine possible.
I love the sound of that. Jamie?
Yeah, well, my name is Jamie Quendoline. First, it's great to have you guys here from Howick. I'm currently the BDC lead for Components, which is one of the divisions of Mark III Construction. In that role, what I'm currently doing is managing a group of talented modelers, specialists in what we do. As you saw on the floor, we have pods and wall panels the other division we have with MEP, we integrate those into one single product, and it's very impressive to see how that comes from the model and how we need to bridge that from BDC, from modeling into fabrication on our shop, and how that goes into the field.
So digital to fabrication to complete pod. So
Yeah.
yeah. Tell us about M3 Components, how it came about, and also M3 Construction, obviously.
So really, you have the Mark III construction umbrella, and within that, we have the components, which is really driven through that innovative, view of prefabrication, industrialized construction, and construction overall. We have our mechanical, electrical, plumbing division, and then we have our service division. For us, really, components came about through just seeing that there's a better way to build. Construction has been static and a bit analog for 100 years. And Dan Carlton, our president, just really truly believed there's a better way to build. And it started with some R&D efforts and some internal activities. Our first one was called Project Mountain. And we took an overhead rack system for a medical facility, and it had, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, med gas, everything within that rack. And we really just compared the metrics of building it digitally, building it in the shop, versus building it stick built, and then the installation speed. And we saw how effective that was. And it really just sparked the whole thing, and it just started moving from there. And, labor is never going to get easier to find. And so anything we can do to offset that labor shortage through efficiencies and through, industrialized construction. We also started looking at other R&Ds, and it grew from wall panels to doing an R&D with a medical owner on comparing a stick-built exam room, comparing a stick-built patient restroom, and then taking those metrics, comparing those to what we call a kit of parts, which is a pre-built wall panels, all flat packed. Then we compared that to a full volumetric. We realized that our hypothesis was proven through that there is efficiencies in this, and this is the future of construction. We just started strategically looking at how do we continue to grow in that market, what value can we bring, what's our value stream, and for customers and for us as a company and our employees. And we've been on that mission for the last 5 years.
We are celebrating our 50-year anniversary this year, which is a very exciting milestone for us. Since Mark III's inception, we have always had a philosophy of there's a better way to build. So we started as an electrical contractor, and you fast forward today and we're doing everything that Ken has described. But it really has been with that idea that there is a better way to build. And that goes from Project Mountain, it goes from the prefab that we were doing prior to that all the way to present day.
So you had a vision in mind, or there's a better way of doing something, we're just going to try this out, Project Mountain, let's experiment with this, and then let's test something else out. And then so one thing snowballs into another.
Big portion of it is that as a mechanical, electrical, and plumbing subcontractor, we have experts across all trades. And so we started to look at what industries are out there that have the most complex systems, because we know that we can provide the most value when there is the most complexity, because all of our teams are under one roof. We're sharing the same logo together. And that's when we identified healthcare as being a big opportunity for us, because if you look at the overhead racking systems, the medical head walls, all of the plumbing, piping, med gas, nurse call, I know there's a bunch more. It's highly complex, and that is what our team specializes in together.
Yeah, we definitely can bring the most value with the higher density of MEP in those, and that is an arena where there is a high density and a multitude of rooms. The other thing is they have a high repetition.
Okay.
A lot of medical facilities, you have 75 exam rooms that are very similar or exactly the same.
Yes.
Patient restrooms are repetitive. There was just a lot of repetition, which lends itself to creating a fixed chassis design that allows you to expedite both design, fabrication, and installation. Healthcare seemed to have they have an entire portfolio of facilities, which lends themselves to a programmatic approach. So when you come in and build one building, they may build that building 7 more times in the course of the next 5 years, various locations.
Right.
And so they really see the value of that repetitive design process, about the programmatic approach to creating templates that become a design and a product file for that particular user.
And one thing that we can take advantage is as early as we can go with the design team to propose those templates, to share our M3C criteria design. So they go with a prefabrication on mind. There is challenges on that because there is design firms that are used to work with traditional methods that will be some friction on it. So it's part of our job also to share and educate in our trades and in our expertise for the prefab standpoint.
And that's sort of your responsibility, your job to gently nudge them towards the better way to do something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And design assist is a big piece for Jamie.
Yeah. So there's a lot of consultation with the client. Obviously, there's a lot of back and forth, and it's easier to do it when it's a digital model rather than trying to experiment on the floor.
Yeah, one of the things I share with the team is like, yeah, we can do many things, but if it's hard to build it in the model, it's gonna be harder on the field.
Yeah.
They will figure out, the field fix will come, but why we cannot just make it easier? So
is that where you recommend sort of this is maybe the easier way to do something, and you model it out and show it to them? Is that how sort of you?
Yeah, for example, if we have exterior panels, they need to connect to each other, and we can look, oh, well, in order to connect to those two panels, you have a space to connect them. But if you don't have that space between, let's call it studs, you will need to take part of them in order to put it together.
Okay.
The other things that is really getting up front, and we work with some really good designers, and they're curious, but they don't have a lot of experience in design for manufacture and field assembly.
Yes.
And so that's really where Jamie and the team really lend that expertise to ensure that how we're designing this and how we're laying it out and the flow that's proposed works with the design, works with the manufacturing process, and then works for the field install team to expedite that installation as efficiently and as in the highest quality as possible.
You've got a large team down on the floor. You told me about
91.
91.
Yeah.
So you've got team leaders for each particular area.
Each zone has a team lead.
Yeah.
And they really are set in the morning. They get, they go over what their expectations are. And really adamant about everybody has a number and a metric. And then really we monitor those and what we'll do is benchmark. If you've got 3 teams that are competing in parallel operations, and one exceeds their goal, then we assess what is it that they're doing that caused them to exceed that goal repetitively. And then we replicate that through the other teams. And it's just part of that continuous improvement loop. And it creates a fun environment.
Yeah, it's a bit of a game, yeah. That's good. It's a healthy competition.
Yeah.
Let's talk about light gauge steel and roll forming technology. What led you to explore a roll forming machine?
So the roll forming, taking control of the supply chain was a decision we made. If we wanted to produce the best quality products and we wanted to control that supply chain, we started looking at what roll formers are out there and what can they produce and what's that return on investment for us, and being able to automate and go digital rather than the analog system we were using where we were manually producing all of the CFS products and cutting them and
because were you ordering stud and track?
We were just ordering raw stud and track. I kind of flew all over the country looking at who was producing what. I went and looked at a couple of factories from the big national producers and what they were using. Went out to Arizona, a few other places, Texas, and just looked at the machines, watched how they produced, what they produced, and I just kept going back to looking at the Howick machine and the multi-profile, and really looking at it being able to produce that highest quality product, listening to what they had to say about customer service, what they had to say about maintenance intervals, that long-term cost of the machine, just factor in all of those things you have to as a business.
Yes.
And really I settled on the Howick machine and particularly the Frama 7600. There's a user in the Southern California area that we have a really good peer relationship with, and I think they had 4 of your machines at that point in time, and went down there with them and just asked them if you could have your dream machine or if you could do whatever you want, which one would it be? And he said that 7600. And
Really?
and so when I got it, I sent him a picture of it, and he teased him a little bit. But, and I would say it was probably the best thing we did. Howick worked with us on getting our certification, getting everything documented, getting us up to speed on functionality, operation, maintenance, setup, tear down, all of those things. And so really it was a game changer for us that allowed us to take control of that quality and that entire supply chain.
So basically you guys are kind of leading the way in what you do, because you're experimenting and then you're improving as you go. Walk us through maybe some of the education that you need to go through. Do you have to show them to factory? How do you convince your clients that this is the way to do it?
What we found is you have to get your hands on it. You have to visually see it. We've done projects where we've worked with teams that have never done industrialized construction. They were not champions for it. And really the way we've overcome that is really involving them in the entire process, like intimately involving them and going through the design. This is how we design it. This is why we design it. This is how it will be assembled. And then bringing them in and letting them physically see the factory, how we produce the product, how it's assembled, how it goes out to the field. Because we don't have a proprietary stud. We don't have these things that it's conventional materials that are fabricated in a substantially more efficient manner, but it's not voodoo. It's not, some kind of odd material that they're going to have to learn how to deal with. And once they see that and they look at it, there's an aha moment that the simplicity of the system and the efficiency that it can bring, they typically will embrace it. And I go back to one of our first projects where we did full wall panels, full mechanical, electrical, plumbing, in wall, the whole project as a unified trade partner. The superintendent was I call him a crusty analog. He's like, I don't believe in this stuff. I don't want to do it. You're going to mess up my schedule. And he had 30 days per zone. There's 5 zones in this medical building to frame out. And we were like, we can do it in 10 and here's how. And he's like, you're crazy. I'm not doing that. So we put 30 days on the first one and we produced the first phase. We went out there and we actually installed it in 8 days.
Oh.
And he was like, okay, maybe there's something to this. And so he worked with us and we, repetitively, we were able to stay within our projected time frame. And by the end of the project, he was a champion for us. Like he believed in it. In fact, we ended up negotiating a second project in the course of that with them. So it's really just embracing the process, being curious, helping them understand the process.
I think there's another piece to add to this, and there's clients will come to us at different portions in their project. And when industrialized construction can be the most effective is when we're brought in early before design has begun.
Yes.
And that is a big change that we're trying to help owners and builders see, is when you come to us with an already set drawings and plans, it hasn't been designed for manufacturing. And so we will have clients come to us and say, hey, we need to finish this project with X amount of time and we need to do it as fast as possible. How can we use industrialized construction? And Kent will say there are ways we can do it. However, the most savings comes from when we are brought in early and brought in at design, and there's a collaboration and a collective commitment to designing for manufacturing, and that being how the project is delivered.
Yeah.
So you'd be doing quite a lot of tours, especially when this is all finished up. That'd be like your other job.
Yeah. We do enjoy our tours. It's really nice to share what we're doing with people who have an interest and really want to also change the industry or make a difference in how they build a project with a customer and bring value.
And some of our best conversations happen during the tour because seeing the process in front of you will start to trigger ideas of, oh gosh, I wonder if this could work on an opportunity that we see coming up. Or why didn't we do it this way? And we've had some of our best conversations out on the floor.
Right.
Not this floor, because we're not a couple here, but out on the floor. And it's exciting. It gets us out of the office, which is a highlight for me.
There are quite a few players like yourself trying to just improve and do what you do and do it better. There's a big industry out there for California and for the whole of the United States. I mean, is the change happening fast enough?
And really from a cultural standpoint, that instant gratification and wanting that speed, we're seeing that across everything that we do. I mean, with AI coming to the table, everything's about efficiencies and how can we implement tools to make our processes go quicker. Within healthcare, that's one of the biggest pieces that we've seen, and with there being an aging demographic and there being higher needs for behavioral health, we're seeing a lot in that market come up, and that is where we're able to offer a lot of value in terms of the repeatability that Ken had talked about.
I think that the market's definitely shifting in acceptance and an understanding of what industrialized construction is, and that it's a viable option and brings value in a multitude of facets. We've let competitors tour. It's all part of improving the process. There's a lot out there to do. Anything that we can do as an entire industry to legitimize what we do, make it more mainstream, understandable, is a win for everybody. There's a lot of work out there. And for us, I mean, we do have a little bit of a different approach. Most of the people who try industrialized construction do it from the GC side down. They work backwards through the system. And really, we looked at it from the trades. I think the competition's good in the market. It weeds out those that shouldn't be here. And it advances those that should. And that's a good thing for all of us in the industry.
And as you were saying, M3 components is leading. And this is the other thing. Industrialized construction has been in the conversation for that many years. And now with all the technology advances, you can see how it's starting to speed it up, even with the competitors and when you go to the events and looking at how the market and the industry is doing, it's like, okay, it's good to be in the front row and also kind of like compare yourself with other companies and see what are the products and opportunities that are out there yet to explore.
So all that hard work you did initially to get all this going, and now you're poised for it because, as you say, the market's changing, and so they're more receptive, and you're ready. And you're ready to be there to deliver what they want.
We have made our mistakes. Everybody wants to say that the trajectory is like a hockey stick, and you start out and then you just shoot up. But the reality is, it's kind of a pretty windy road.
Very much so.
For us, as we were producing our products in the very beginning, we installed all of our first projects. And that was really through design to make sure that we produced the best product possible. And we suffered some pains. Like, we learned a lot of lessons. You'll go out and they'll be like, you can't put the first stud this far apart. You can't get a screw gun in there. You can't do this because this doesn't work. And so we really took that opportunity to be the first one to suffer the consequences, learn those lessons, implement every wall panel we did. We just kept up in the design and how we set it up for installation and how everything went until number of projects in, we're like, okay, we've got this pretty well refined. It's always going to be evergreen, continually improving, but we got to a point where we felt comfortable that we wanted to exit that construction ecosystem and focus on the manufacturing side, and then have certified installers or self-perform GCs that install those products. We did learn a lot of rough lessons in that first couple of years.
But that's good though.
It was
and then
really
when
good.
you say to the GCs, like, this is how you should install it, or whatever it is that you do, you say it from experience.
Yeah, and you're like, don't do this. We did this, don't do this.
The people are what makes the company, And if you're successful, it's because your people are successful. So
100%.
let's and I get the sense from just working with you guys and also seeing what's out there in the ether that you put out, that there is a strong people culture in M3, really, throughout
Yeah.
M3
Yep.
and M3C. So yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah, our culture is shared across all teams. So
Yeah.
we pride ourselves on every job site that our team is at. If you show up to our factory and you feel that same feeling, whether it's with the M3 Components logo or the M3 MEP logo. One of the things that we say is where we go, our culture follows. And
I like
that is absolute here because our 91 team members show up here the same day, same place, where our field teams show up to different job sites, and we're bringing our products to different job sites, and being able to have that culture that follows us everywhere we go. It's really important to us. And our core values, we're a values-driven organization. So we make business decisions, people decisions, all based around those values. Our core values at Mark III are, we call it Team EPIC, which stands T for teamwork. EPIC is E for excellence, P for perseverance, I for integrity, and C for continuous improvement. And like I said, all of our people decisions and hiring and any even opportunities we look at them, everything goes back to our core values. And one of the ones that's most important to me is that continuous improvement piece. And Kent talked about it a little bit, but the way we define that is it's improving ourselves, improving the folks on our team, and improving the industry. It is not looked at from an individualistic standpoint. It's looked at as the collective. And so whether it's trainings, whether it's giving our teams the opportunity to try a new idea, even if it fails, even if it costs money, even if it's material, we really want to have a culture that has people feeling comfortable to try new things and test ideas and give feedback. And it all comes back to the values for us.
So they're not afraid to fail,
Yep.
so that you can get to the
You don't
next
fail
step.
till you quit.
But that's where it ties back to perseverance for us. So it's fall down, get back up, dust yourself off, learn, and hit again.
Yep.
And so those two pieces working in tandem, I mean, we have a very courageous group of people that are not afraid of a challenge, but continuous improvement and perseverance, it's just that cycle.
Yeah, and as Kelly just said, it's part of our selection for the people and the people who stays on the team, because you can have very skilled level members, but if they are not willing to be part of the teamwork and part of like those innovation ideas, it's not gonna work in a long term.
No, yeah. Tell us some of the company's aspirations and vision.
So we see ourselves, our 10-year target, our 10-year goal is to be a $400 million company. And that's going to take each of our entities all working together with that portfolio approach. We want to be able to bring in projects on the industrialized construction side, deliver the MEP, and then have that maintenance through our service department and bring it back for that full cycle of a project.
It is. I mean, from a structural standpoint, that's a huge piece of it. From a technical and innovation standpoint, it's really leveraging current technologies and future technologies. One of the things that we're working on is really what we call a computational software. And we're looking at moving further upstream to help the design teams expedite the design process. And so that catalog can be used to populate a bill of material during the course of design using a gaming engine and some AI technology. And then our metrics that we gather through there are used to create a cost-loaded schedule. So you can design a room, in a parametric design, and then immediately, if you make changes, it'll give you a real-time cost and schedule impact to those.
Sure.
And so that really allows us to move further upstream with a design team, and then from there go immediately to the CNC production files for manufacturing. And that's a gap where we currently are looking at, where from design to manufacture, the process is too long and it's too cumbersome. And so we want to expedite that, compress that, and create higher accuracy in there to create those digital files and go straight into production.
Okay.
As a company, we implemented the EOS system about 2 years ago, and we are half through the second year. And it's very interesting on our meetings we have as group. putting those milestones for quarters and having us as commitments to making sure we are getting and reaching that 10-year target in each of our divisions, in each of our teams. So everyone is going into the same
So everyone
direction.
knows it's got to buy in that vision, yeah?
About 5 years ago, we really changed the trajectory of the company and who we are, and really assessed we actually changed our core values. And we looked at who we were, who we want to be, and what we truly believe in and want to be known for. And we changed to the Team Epic. We also embarked on a very progressive and in-depth leadership training program that we've put 60 some people through at this point now over the course of the last 3 years. Really just improving who we are, how we do business, how we interact as a company, both personally and on the business side.
Can I just ask what EOS is?
It's an entrepreneurial operating system, and it's based on traction, which really it's a very pretty fast-paced, very structured system that allows you to set goals, monitor goals, both metrics, whatever your dashboard is. What are the things you need to monitor weekly that are critical to the operation, and to be able to project and plan for the future of your business and not be reactionary with historical data.
Okay.
And then what are the goals that are going to get us there? Each quarter, each month, each week. What are the things that need to be done to ensure we are on track to achieve those goals? Who's working on them, and how are they working on them? And so it really has become our roadmap. It's not just a vision to get there. We have a plan, and it's in writing, and it's documented, and anybody can look at it.
Everybody. Well, that's great. Healy, last words.
I think simply put, our mission is leading the evolution of construction, and we want to bring like-minded individuals to the table, from the architects, the engineers, the owners, the general contractor, our team. We want to bring everybody together and see this vision for a better way to build, and that's through leading the evolution of construction. And it comes down to folks that want to collaborate, people who both demand excellence but also give excellence, and for us it's someone that wants a partner that can deliver industrialized construction and all trades, but it's the collaboration and bringing like-minded folks together. And when we do that, that is what will get us to where we want to go in 2, 5, and 10 years.
Great stuff. Healy, Kent, Jamie,
you.
thank you very much.
Thank you very
for the
much.
time.